All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is Wednesday, and we are ready for some wisdom. Wisdom of the ages, Dr. Wayne Dyer, Wednesday Wisdom, with me, your host, Chase Corrington, on the Chase Corrington YouTube channel. All right, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, we're going to be reading a chapter from Wisdom of the Ages. I'll have this book linked in the description box below. So if you're interested, you can get yourself a physical copy and we can do this together because I'll be doing this every Wednesday going forward into the future. Sorry, it's a little bit later today. I had to work, but that's good. Got to make some money to save and do things in life. Now, passion. Today's chapter is titled Passion. And Percy, this one's tough to pronounce. I'm not sure of the middle name, but it's Percy Shelley, 1792 to 1822, English philosophical poet. Percy Shelley rejected all conventions that he believed stifled love and human freedom and rebelled against the strictures of English politics and religion. Fascinating. His poem here is titled Love's Philosophy. 1 and 2. Love's Philosophy. The fountains mingle with the river, and the rivers with the ocean. The winds of heaven mix forever with a sweet emotion. Nothing in the world is single, all things by a law divine. In one spirit meet and mingle. Why not I with thine? 2. Excuse me. See the mountains kiss high heaven, and the waves clasp one another. No sister flower would be forgiven if it is disdained its brother. And the sunlight clasps the earth, and the moonbeams kiss the sea. What is all this sweet work worth, if thou kiss not me? Interesting. I'm really interested to see where Wayne Dyer goes with this one. I'll limit my commentary for now, and we'll see what pops out of the mind as we go along. Percy Shelley's poetry was his legacy to all of us on the importance of passionately living our daily lives, Wayne Dyer begins. No less an authority than the Encyclopedia Britannica said about this English romantic poet. His passionate search for personal love and social justice was gradually channeled from overt actions into poems that rank with the greatest in English language. Living life passionately has its own tremendous rewards, which are intensified when one is aware that death, in its arbitrary way, can come unexpectedly, as it did for Shelley. Just think of this, Wayne Dyer says. Here was a man living at the beginning of the 19th century in England who risked his life distributing pamphlets advocating political rights and autonomy for Catholics in Ireland. He eloped at age 19, betraying both families. He lost his first wife to suicide when he was 24, and 2 of his children died when he was in his mid-20s. He then married his lover, Mary Wollstonecraft, fulfilling his desire for a life partner who, quote, can feel poetry and understand philosophy. Shelley traveled all over Europe, supporting himself by writing and publishing his poetry. The man was a fervent idealist who wrote of his love for love and his passion for passion. He completed his enormous treasury of poetry and prose by the age of 29, when he died in a boating accident during a storm. Not only does his poetry speak to all of us of his enormous passion, but so does his life as well. He took up causes, risked his frame and his life, drank up every moment of his life. The poem quoted here, Love Philosophy, conveys a glimmer of the passion that Shelley felt in his idealistic heart. And it says to me, Wayne Dyer says, as does much of his romantic poetry, feel the love for those you adore and express it with fervor. Otherwise, live your life in frustration. So if you don't feel the love for those that you do adore and express it with fervor, he's saying here, we will end up living our lives in frustration with unexpressed emotion. Love, the passionate variety, is that intense sense of longing that pervades every thought, every waking moment. It is a state of bliss that we usually equate with sexual or romantic feelings when they are ecstatically shared with one's lover. All of that mingling, mixing, clasping, kissing between the rivers, winds, mountains, flowers, and moonbeams are Shelley's metaphors for that shared state of bliss. Why, he implies, would you choose the frustration of not expressing these feelings? I can recall the aching I have felt at various times in my life for a love that I was unable to share with someone. I think I felt as though I died and gone to heaven when that love was made manifest by long embraces and union. This is an interesting one. To me, this is a conversation on love and the importance of expressing our love in our life. Love's philosophy. Wayne Dyer continues, he says, but there is also passion in other circumstances, like the ecstasy of creation. So that's what I'm into, manifesting, creating life on purpose. When we consider the matter of having passion in our lives, it is important to pay attention to the things that we feel passionate about. Personally, I know the ecstasy of creation through my writing and in delivering a talk to an audience. I feel a state of bliss in many situations, which is the same kind of union that Shelley describes in his poetry. And I feel this bliss of creation when I'm working on my paintings and when I'm creating these videos and writing my own kinds of things. Creation, I think, is a key process in all of our lives that we need to be continually searching to be doing. We need to be searching for avenues that allow us in our own unique ways. Each of us is unique. For me, it was visual. For me, it was art, like you can see, but each of us has our own ways of creating things. Like some people like to make a nice wood cabinet, nice wood shelf, and there's all different things. And then that part that he said there about when we consider the matter of having passions in our lives, it's important to pay attention to the things that we feel passionate about. I think that'll help us to explore more of our lives, because so often we know what we're passionate, or we have passion, but we don't realize it, and then we let it pass and we don't use it. All right, let's go back to what Wayne Dyer is saying here. Too often we find ourselves bogged down in a serious approach to life, using our minds to keep us in a state of angst, or even worse, indifference. Joy and ecstasy come from within. They cannot be purchased at any price, although it sometimes helps. We're all seeking, adding my own words there, we're all seeking joy and happiness, and often feeling it is not a proper state of mind when it arrives. Back to the arriving instead of striving. If we don't ever arrive, then we don't know how to arrive. Or what that means is if we're not ever enjoying, we all are seeking joy and happiness, he says, and often feeling it's not a proper state of mind when it arrives. If we don't know how to handle it or deal with it when it arrives in our life, then we're never going to be able to fully enjoy it, hold on to it, That's just fascinating that we often feel like it's not proper when it arrives. Like, no, I shouldn't be feeling happy right now. We should practice more arriving. and less striving, because when it does arrive, then we'll be able to really experience it. Those are just my thoughts. Excuse me, my throat's being silly. I need to go get some new tea. All right. The key to knowing this state is to put passion into your life, in your love, to be sure, but also in your recreation, your vocation, and all your observations of yourself intermingling with this glorious universe. There is so much to be passionate about, and that's the truth. But so many of us spend so little time looking at it or even trying to express it. Also love, which is what the key here is this love and this passion and expressing it. He goes, love's philosophy. Why not? Shelley lived out his passionate idealism with every breath and heartbeat. His passion is reflected in this magnificent poetry, love's philosophy. And we should begin to ask ourselves, why not? Why not expressing the love that we feel? Why not noticing the passions that we have and then expressing them and becoming creators and creating our lives? Wayne Dyer gives us a recommendation here. He says to put this passion into your life. Number one, know that you are a part of a joyful universe. Allow your romantic, ecstatic, blissful emotions to appear more frequently in your daily life. When you feel joy, experience it, express it. As the New Testament says, joy is the fruit of the Spirit. Don't deny yourself that fruit. And I think that'd be an interesting one to look at the etymology in the interlinear to see what the meanings of those words were in the New Testament. That's always fascinating to me. Like the word fruit in that line might be something very deep. So number two, write your own poetry. And I'll suggest write anything, even if it's just one thought. And take a practice of writing daily. Take the time to record your feelings of passion, whether your passion is pottery, antique furniture, mathematics, music. See, mathematics is a form of art too, that not many people will, most people say, oh, math isn't art, right? Science isn't art. I think our lives are art. And our passion is the tool that we use to express it. Number three, give yourself permission to be passionate, to be a passionate person. Be passionate about anything or anyone you choose without interference from your inner critic. When that inner critic tries to make you feel foolish, gently but firmly tell it to wait for you in the lobby and invite it to rejoin you later if you want to. Tell those you love, this is number four, tell those you love how you feel about them as often as possible. This will give you the opportunity to share your joy, and by doing so, to double it. And then finally, read, and reread the poetry of passionate people like Shelley, and I'll say the literature of passionate people. Try to feel their hearts beating with yours. Imagine yourself seeing and feeling what they saw before you ever even arrived on this planet. Interesting one, ladies and gentlemen. To me, that was a philosophy of love and passion. Percy Shelley. I think we'll keep this one succinct today, not to drag you on too far. Next week, we'll be looking at William Blake, 1757 to 1827, also was an English poet. And his poem we'll be looking at next Wednesday for the wisdom of the ages on Wednesday. Wednesday wisdom will be A Poison Tree. And Wayne Dyer titles it Communication. Interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Very interesting. I think these are good for the mind. These are good for the spirit. they're good for the soul, and they're good for our lives. Because now I'll go on for the rest of my day, and you, after you've watched this, the rest of your day or evening, and we'll have these thoughts in our minds, whether it's conscious or subconscious. And like Wayne Dyer said, we should begin to share the love that we have for others in order to double it. And we should begin to recognize the passion that we have and begin to act in our passions. I am Chase Corrington. If you got value, smash the like button. Please do subscribe and leave me a comment and let me know what your favorite part of this was, or if there's a certain topic that you really love. And seek to achieve and maintain happiness through enlightenment. Make happiness the way. All right, love you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, and I'll be back in the future with more wisdom of the ages.